Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, as somebody has cruised as often as I have, 182 cruises now, well, I often forget about those first time, going on my cruise for the first time and all the mistakes that people make. So I thought, yeah, let's bring up a list and say, hey, let's not make these first-time cruiser mistakes, because a lot of them will ruin your cruise or just cost you money. Number one is shop for a cruise only based on price. That's not a way to do it. You need to look for a cruise and a cruise ship that fit your personality, your likes, your needs, your wants. Just looking for the base price of a base fare and a base cruise, you're going to get that kind of experience. You heard the old saying, you get what you pay for. Well, if you pay the cheapest possible price on the cheapest possible sailing in the cheapest cruise ship you can find, you're going to get the cheapest possible vacation in a way. And what I mean by that is your cheapest experience. Sometimes saving a couple of $100 and getting on the right cruise ship and the right cruise line is a much better idea. Number two is, oh my goodness, I have so many people who say, oh yeah, I'll see you on the cruise ship. I say, oh great, where are you going to be staying in Galveston, Texas when you arrive? And they'll say, oh, we didn't book a hotel. Our flight arrives at noon. So we still have 4 hours to get to the cruise ship. Your flight arrives at noon. What happens if your flight's delayed 2 hours? Which happens all the time. So it makes me extremely nervous. The cost of it, find a cheap hotel, find a Motel 8, find a Super 8, a Motel 6, something just clean for the night. It will save a lot of your worry, and if something does go wrong with your flights, you have an extra day to make it to the cruise ship. Please don't fly in, even if you're only flying 2 hours down, it's not worth it. It's just not worth the headaches and the possibility of completely missing your cruise. Number three, once you get on that cruise, failing to put your phone on airplane mode. I have so many stories of people getting huge bills because they didn't turn on their airplane mode on their phone. I just did a recent story where a passenger got home and he was surprised. Oh my God, I got a $1,300 phone bill. Yes, because you're hooking up to satellite dishes, you're hooking up to foreign countries, and all those long distance charges are gonna happen. And no matter where you are. But the worst case is when they hit those satellite dishes and you get charged those fees, which are even higher than normal long distance fees. So whatever you do, put your phone on airplane mode. Number four, thinking all cruise lines are exactly the same. Oh, a ship is a ship is a ship is a ship. Absolutely not. Every cruise line has their own personality. You go on, for instance, a Cunard cruise ship, and then go on Virgin's cruise ship, and tell me a cruise ship is a cruise ship is a cruise ship. They have distinct vibes, distinct personalities, and you'll find a cruise line out there that fits your style of cruising. And that's what it's all about. That's why there's so many different cruise lines out there. So we have all these different offerings. That's why cruise lines own more than one company. That's why, Carnival owns Princess Cruises. So they have the small family get together, the fun ships, and then they have the more luxury premium cruise line and Princess to sell. They have a lot more options. So yeah, not all cruise lines are exactly the same. Next is, don't be afraid to try things on the cruise ships. I hear so many people say, I said, oh, are you going to the Broadway shows? Oh, I don't think I'd like Broadway shows. But they've never gone. They've never gone to the theater to see a show. They've never participated in a game show on the cruise ships. They've never joined in on certain things. They've never tried the zip line on the cruise ships. Except they've just never tried it. They just assume they're not going to like it. And who knows? I thought to myself, you know what? I'm kind of a shy guy. You never know it. You'd never know it, folks. But I am. I'm a very shy person. But I love participating in the game shows, and I thought I never would until I did my first game show. And I had a great time. I had fun. And that's the key. Try things. You'll never know you're going to like it if you don't try it. Number 6 is a big one now, folks. With all these electronic travel authorizations coming out across the world, you need to know that what paperwork and what things you need to do before arriving. You need to know if your passport's good. Some countries say your passport can expire in 3 months. Some say it can expire in 6 months. You need to know all your documentations you need. Do you also need any kind of medical documentation? Like if you're going to a country that needs certain shots, like I will be going to Africa and I'll need a couple shots. You need to know all this information. Get all your documents well in advance so you're not stuck and denied getting on your ship. Documents, documents, documents. This one is my nemesis, folks. I get so many people caught on this and said, well, I'm just going on a short cruise. I don't really need insurance. I'm not even planning to get off the ship. What could happen? And the next thing you know, they slip on the stairs and they fracture their elbow. Yeah, now you're paying medical expenses. Now you're possibly being escorted off the ship whether you wanted to get off or not because you need that medical attention. You just never know what can happen. People get hit in the parking lot of the cruise ship by other cars. It's happened. And if you don't have that travel insurance, you're on the hook for all of that expense. It's not worth it, especially if you're going away for a 3-day cruise. The insurance is negligible for medical insurance. You don't need cancellation insurance, but medical insurance is a must. And if you're not traveling with medical insurance, I don't know what to tell you. You're really taking a risk. Number 8, how about when you're choosing your ship? Okay, I like that ship. I like what's on it and everything. I'm just going to choose the cheapest cabin. Instead of looking at the deck plan and locating your cabin and booking the cabin that will be best for you. If you're somebody with mobility issues, maybe you want to be a little closer to the elevators. If you're somebody who doesn't like noise, you're easily woken up. You don't want to be right at the front of the ship. You want to be more midship. You don't want to be under the pool deck. You don't want to be beside a bar. You don't want to be above the theater. You don't want all these locations. So look at the deck plan, decide where you want to be, and choose your cabin that way. Don't just say, I want the cheapest cabin, and then you complain the whole cruise that, oh man, this is just the worst cabin. Isn't this a bad cabin? Why am I in this cabin? Because you didn't bother to book the cabin you should have booked. How about this one? Have any of you been caught on this? Sometimes experienced cruisers get caught like this. I got caught once in the Greenland, but not booking your entertainment or your excursions until you get on the ship. Mostly the excursions. I'll book the excursions when I get on the ship. There'll still be lots left, and then you get there and you got a choice of like 4 bus rides or a walking tour. Well, the snorkeling is gone, the catamaran's gone, the ATVs are gone, the jet skis are gone. What's going on? How come they're all gone? Because people book them ahead before you get on the ship, and there's only so many excursions to go around. So if you know there's something you really want to do, make sure you book your excursions well ahead of time, whether through the cruise line or through another third-person service. Doesn't matter, book them early. Otherwise, you might just be left in the dark or on the ship complaining that I didn't get to do a shore excursion today. And here's the one that catches a lot of people off guard all the time, and that is, guess what? The cruise ship won't wait for you. If you're late getting back to the ship, they may pull up the plank right away, the gangway right away. So we're sailing at 4 o'clock, folks. If you're not on board by 4 o'clock, that's it. And at 4:01, they're pulling up that gang. I've seen it happen, 4:01. But sometimes they'll stick around a half hour or so, a little bit of leeway time. But if you're like an hour and a half late, a lot of times you'll be sitting there and you'll see the ship pulling away from it, and they're not going to pull back in. They're going to leave you there, and then all that expense after that point is on you because you didn't make it back to the ship. People lose track of the time. They take a private excursion that blows a tire and they're late getting back to the port. They are, forgot to check the ship time, the all aboard time. They didn't adjust their phones to the proper time that it is where they are because the clock's changed overnight. All these reasons, but that ship doesn't care. That ship's going to leave you. They will try their best to connect with you and find out where you are. But yeah, how many times have you seen pier runners and then people left at the port? So whatever you do, make sure you know what time to be back. Make sure your clocks are correct and make sure you give yourself a little leeway. Well, there you go. Those are 10 things that can absolutely ruin your cruise for first-time cruisers and even experienced cruisers. But most of us know to pick our cabin. Most of us know to pick the right cruise line. But if you've never been on a cruise before, you may be thinking, I'm going to go on the cheapest possible cruise possible ever, just so I know what it's like. And in reality, it's nothing like it would have been had you gone on the cruise that's right for you and the ship that's right for you. Let's not make those mistakes. Are there any more first-time mistakes that you can think of? Add them in the comments down below. And until next time, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let's see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.